By leaning over like this, what's that doing? Well, that's increasing the humeral flexion that occurs. So now all of a sudden you're getting the lats into a fully lengthened position, but you're also applying constant tension by the cable pulling you from above. So then as you go down, you kind of like puff up your chest a little bit to complete the range of motion. Today's workout is going to consist of the assisted pull-up machine, followed by a certain row variation, and lastly we'll be hitting the cable straight arm lat pull down variation. Each exercise is going to have around 3 sets, and yeah, we're just going to be taking it all the way to failure. It's probably going to be around like 8 to 15 repetitions per exercise, so let's just get into the first set. This exercise is fantastic because you get a great sense of stability, and you can also strap up really well, and then it's very easily loadable. Like you just have these different pins where you can kind of interact with how much you're lifting. It works kind of like the opposite of a traditional weight stack because it's actually adding weight, but since you're lifting your body weight with a traditional pull-up, it'll subtract the weight that you're adding from how much your body weight actually is. So kind of think of it as kind of like a reverse, like you're subtracting 50 pounds if you were to throw it at 50. But I think that this is such a great lift because you can truly be nice and controlled. Like when you're locked into this motion, you're not going to be moving around a lot like a regular pull-up. You'd just be locked in, and then you can really focus on fully lengthening the lats by going down like this and then exploding and going up as far as you can. And that is such a phenomenal feature because then you can really just focus on the bottom range without being so wibble wobbly. And whenever you can focus on just like the lengthened portion of an exercise, you're probably going to be growing as much as 1.5 times, especially when it comes to the lats. So while I'm doing this lift, I'm really focusing on that bottom range and not really shortchanging myself. In other words, at the very bottom end of the range of motion, I'm not going to be rushing it. So for instance, when I'm down here, I'm not just going to be like a spring. I'm really going to milk it and pause for a sec and then gradually go up. And what I'm really getting out of this lift is I'm not really caring too much about this top range. Sure, if I can get the full range of motion, then I'm going to emphasize as much. But as I start to reach fatigue, which is going to be towards the end, and it's going to be inevitable. We're going to get fatigued if we're going hard no matter what. So once I reach fatigue, I'm not really caring about that top range. I'm just milking that bottom range because that is the most hypertrophic. And as you saw at the very end of each session, I just performed some partials just to really, really milk it. Lastly, I just want to mention where my grip is going, and I'm sure that you guys saw, but my grip is super narrow. It's like almost towards as narrow as you can get, and there's a very good reason for that. And the reason is that the further out your grip is, like this, the less of a range of motion your lats are going to have because your lats are working adduction of the humerus. So just by going like that, that would be the range if you're super wide. But since I'm out here, I'm going all the way like that. Up next, we're hitting a machine row variation, and I like including a lift like this because we start off with a vertical pull, so now it's time for some horizontal pull action, because after all, the vertical pull variation is mainly just going to be working on our lats due to the line of force. But since we're doing more of a vertical variation like this, we're going to be hitting like our mid back, so we're going to hit our rhomboids, our mid traps, our low traps, our teres major, and all that stuff. So let's get into the first set. Regarding this lift, the same logic kind of applies in terms of I'm really milking the length in position. So when I'm all the way down like this, I'm kind of pausing for a sec to get that full scapulate protraction. Additionally, I'm sure that you guys have noticed that there are actually two handlebars here. There's this neutral grip one, and then this pronated grip. And this kind of comes down to personal preference and your goals. If you're using more of the neutral grip, because of the line of the humeral angle, you're actually going to be using more of your lats since they're a better average to be contracted, better leverage that is, versus if you're using these pronated handle grips up here, you're actually going to be using more of your mid back, like what I was talking about earlier. And since for my goals, that's what I'm trying to get out of this lift, I am choosing to use the pronated grip. Another minor form tidbit is you could totally do this supinated, so using like an underhand grip. However, that's going to be involving more biceps. Since the bicep is the primary elbow flexor. So, if your biceps are lagging, you just want to add in as much stimulus as you possibly can, then maybe doing it with a supinated grip is in your best interest. But for me, I'm trying to minimize bicep activation because I don't want them giving out before my back does. So that's why I'm doing pronate. Lastly, we've come to the straight arm lat pull down. And this one is just to be able to isolate the lats without having your biceps take over. So in other words, you're not using any bicep flexion in order to pull the weight. So that your elbow joint is completely taken out of the lift. And then you can just focus on the glenohumeral joint of the shoulder while you're doing that, the lats, using the lats through a humeral extension. So that's why I really like adding this lift in, because it's some extra stimulus for your lats without fatiguing your whole body by doing a compound lift. Let's get into it. All right, final set done, and I just want to talk about a little bit of some form tidbits on this exercise. So with this one, I see a lot of people doing the exercise just from like a vertical stance, just like this. Well, what are you doing with this exercise? I'll tell you what you're not doing. You're not getting a full range of motion, because look at the lats want to go into full humeral flexion, so they want to go all the way up like this to be fully lengthened. So by stopping right here, unless you're like a very short individual and you can get up like that, then that's going to be really short-changing, taking the lats to their full range of motion. And we're just working the lats on this exercise, so we want to be really working them to the best degree that we can. And therefore, by leaning over like this, what's that doing? Well, that's increasing the humeral flexion that occurs. So now all of a sudden you're getting the lats into a fully lengthened position, but you're also applying constant tension by the cable pulling you from above. So then as you go down, you kind of like puff up your chest a little bit to complete the range of motion. I additionally think that it's a good idea to kind of like bring down your scapular blades while you're doing the lift. So scapulated depression, because that's one of the functions of the lats too. So make sure that your shoulder blades are in alignment. And then in terms of like sets and reps, this one you can get away with doing a lot because it's not super fatiguing. So I did 3 sets of about 15, but do whatever your heart's desire. But hey guys, thanks for watching. This one's been all about how to improve your form and get the most out of some classic lifts that everybody does. And I hope that you derive something out of it. Have a good one.